So the next step is the turnaround. So the statement is, Jack doesn't respect me. Well, we have to come up with 3 statements that could be just as true as that statement, Jack doesn't respect me. Okay? The first statement is to the self. Jack doesn't respect me to the self is, I don't respect myself. When you ask Jill that question, she will immediately say, yes. You don't even have to go back to, is that true? Is that absolutely true? She'll say, yes, it's true. You know, I haven't done the things in my life that I wanted to do. I really need to go back and take some classes. There's so many things that I've left undone, right? So this is the statement that we have to work with probably. The next statement to Jack doesn't respect me is to the other. I don't respect Jack. So we go back and say, is that true, Jill? And she'll say, no, that's not true. I love Jack. Jack's a great husband, great father, great provider. My mother is absolutely wrong. He's a great guy. So this is not a statement that is a problem in Jill's life. Now to the opposite, the third statement to the opposite of Jack doesn't respect me is Jack does respect me. Now it's going to take a little bit of work for Jill to believe that, because that's the belief that she's had for so long. Jack probably does not share Jill's lack of respect for herself, or the marriage probably would have ended a long time ago. You know, Jill can probably think of a lot of examples where Jack shows respect for Jill. So her distortion is 180 degrees from the truth. So now Jill's work is to deal with the distortions. She's got to list the distortions, and she's got to identify the negative beliefs, and she's got to recognize the themes of her negative beliefs, and it's probably the majority of them will be acceptance-based with a little bit of achievement-based negative beliefs. Next is an action plan for Jill. Where do I want to be? Whatever the reason for Jill's distortion, she's got to now decide where she wants to be emotionally. Does she want to see herself as confident? Does she want to see herself as peaceful, as happy? Then what action is she going to take to change her habits to eliminate the cognitive distortions? She might want to start a program to lose some weight if that's what she wants to do, or go back to school and get a degree, or go get a part-time job, or whatever. She needs to find her passion for living again. She needs to find her meaning in life. Looks like she needs a life coach. And most of all, she has to start a dialogue with Jack, her husband. Now, it takes consistent work for somebody who is flatlining at a 5 to go up 2 points to a 7. Remember our goal, to live in a happy, delightful, enthusiastic life full of hope and optimism. So when you deal with Jill's situation on a step-by-step basis, sometimes it kind of looks obvious or maybe even trivial. But remember, we brought Jill from a place of thinking that her husband is having an affair to understanding that it might be her self-esteem that's the issue here. This is huge to Jill's happiness, to see that by eliminating the distortions that she might actually get rid of her distortions of overgeneralization or personalization or thinking that she's a loser. This is big. This is big to her life. Now, I love this quote here, but it's got a cognitive distortion in it, darn it. Listen to this. There's only one cause of unhappiness. Now, there's no one cause of anything. What was Mr. DeMello thinking there? There is one of the main cause of unhappiness is the false beliefs you have in your head, beliefs so widespread, so commonly held, that it never occurs to you to question them. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? So one last point. We're down to the final wire here. Action is critical because the mind believes action more than thought. The neural pathways in your brain can change with consistent thought, but with repetitive action, they become habits and permanent neural pathways in your brain. For instance, if you think you're a terrible speaker, but people keep telling you that you're a good speaker, you have cognitive dissonance. If you keep giving good speeches, your mind's going to believe the action over the belief that you're not a good speaker. Cognitive dissonance is the uncomfortable feeling caused by holding conflicting ideas and beliefs simultaneously. people, our mind, have a motivational drive to reduce dissonance. They do this by changing their attitude, beliefs, and actions. Now let's think about this for just a minute. So the mind has to let one idea or the other go. It's got to let one belief or the other belief go. Either you are or are not a good speaker, either you are or are not stupid, either you are or not an alcoholic. The mind cannot be at peace until you close the dissonance gap. The dissonance theory is one of the most influential and extensively studied theories in social psychology. But you got to be careful. Here's a caution statement. Dissonance can also be reduced by justifying, blaming, and denying. They're cognitive distortions. So we can do this to ourselves. The opposite of cognitive dissonance is cognitive clarity. When we manage our emotions and beliefs, we increase our intuition and clarity. This helps us self-regulate our brain chemicals and internal hormones, which produces a natural high, 8 to 10 on the JoMAC scale. The mind, however, will not be at peace until you reconcile the dissonance. If you think you're a healthy eater, but you keep eating unhealthy foods, I don't care how much you sit there and affirm and visualize and repeat that I'm a healthy eater, I'm a healthy eater, your mind knows the difference. Your mind knows. It'll believe the action. You're not a healthy eater. So with only with action that become habits can we change the neural pathways in the brain, and only then does action become sustainable change. Only when our action is consistent with our thoughts are we truly authentic, are we truly being. So in closing, the power and the efficacy of your thoughts are dependent on the accuracy of your beliefs. So, true beliefs empower our strengths and positivity and creates positive emotions that give us a flourishing and happy and authentic life. But false beliefs create cognitive distortions that give us negative emotions that make us what? Live in an imaginary van down by the river. Thank you, everybody.